So like, I want to be the biggest podiatrist in the world. And to do that, I need to dominate every platform. So I'm going on a hunt to get to 100,000 subs by the end of 2026.
What's up, and what's up? Welcome to the Coffee Bros podcast presented to you by the
What's up, podcast? Welcome to the Coffee Bros interview. Woo! Came off interviewing one of the best guests we've had. Really nice. Paul The Podiatrist.
So Paul The Podiatrist is a podiatrist dealing with foot care. But he actually went viral especially for his rating of like a few couple of shoes. Like honestly, when I went to the interview right now, I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so much things to think about. Tune into what Singaporeans, like the kind of foot problems that we usually deal with, like how to what kind of shoes we should wear.
Yeah, and how our national footwear actually is not very healthy for our feet. I think we all knew that, but it takes something that takes like an actual medical professional. Yeah, like to say, hey, you guys actually shouldn't be wearing all these flip flops. I mean, all your Havianas and all your Birkenstock.
But before our episode, a word from our sponsors.
This week's episode is brought to you by our friends at SGwatchHub, your one-stop platform for all things watches in Singapore. Whether you're buying, selling, or simply obsessed with timepieces, SGwatchHub connects you to sellers, retailers, and fellow collectors so you can find that perfect watch for your wrist.
And it's not just a marketplace. They also offer a full range of watch services, repairs and polishing to strap replacements, protective films, watch winders, and even authentication. SGwatchHub also works with amazing brands like Humism, an independent design studio from Singapore that turns time into art.
Instead of traditional hands, Humism watches use laser-cut rotating discs to create mesmerizing kinetic patterns on the dial. You're not just reading time, you're experiencing it. One of their standout pieces is the design, part of Humism's Philosophies collection. Inspired by how we exist and experience time, the design forms a constantly shifting starburst pattern as the discs rotate.
And here's the exciting part. SGwatchHub and Humism are partnering with the Chit Chatter for a special giveaway. If you'd love to get your hands on this beautiful piece, head over to our Instagram page and follow the instructions in our pin reel to take part. If you love watches as much as we do, check out SGwatchHub.sg and join the community. Big thank you to our friends at SGwatchHub, your one-stop platform for all things watches here in Singapore.
So without further ado, let's tune in to the episode.
So like, I want to be the biggest podiatrist in the world. And to do that, I need to dominate every platform. So I'm going on a hunt to get to 100,000 subs by the end of 2026.
Now, our guest today is a podiatrist and foot health content creator based in Singapore, where he treats a wide range of foot and lower limb conditions with a special focus on sports and biomechanical problems. A graduate of the University of Southampton, he runs a practice under his brand, Paul The Podiatrist, which is located at the Core Collective. He also shares educational advice and shoe reviews across social media under the handle Paul The Podiatrist to make expert foot health guidance more accessible. To learn more about our guest, please join me in welcoming Paul Macauley.
Yay!
Welcome, Paul.
Thanks a lot for having me today, guys. I'm very excited.
Why have you been busy recently?
Few things, both life and business. So today was a filming day. So me and my videographer smashing out a couple of YouTube videos, and then we went down to the track to just test out a few different shoes and take some good B-rolls. And then I'm also planning my wedding at the moment. So, we literally had booked one venue. We booked one venue, and then we realized that there's some travel restrictions for British people. So we've got to change to a different island in the Philippines. So absolute chaos.
Crazy. I can just imagine, I can just imagine the havoc that goes behind planning a wedding, especially you're planning in an island in Philippines.
Yeah. My fiance is Filipino. So we were going to have it in like her hometown, but now, we're going to go somewhere neither of us ever been. So pretty chaotic, but we're going to Philippines next week. So a good time for a recce. Yeah, nice little holiday as well. Should be all right.
Nice. Filipino food's always good, man.
Yeah. Lechon is so good.
Yeah, lechon, the sisig, the curry, the peanut butter beef, all that shit. That shit's
peanut butter beef.
Yeah. You are so right. The food is amazing.
Before we begin, could you tell our viewers what a podiatrist is and what do you guys do?
It's actually quite unknown in Singapore, but podiatrist, like pod, is Greek for foot. So we are foot specialists, but we also go up to the hip. So we'll do foot pain, knee pain, lower limb conditions as well. But it spans like from everything. It could be like cutting toenails, doing a bit of hard skin, ingrown toenails, to diabetic wounds. And then it's me who does, sports injuries, like car-like runners with a bit of foot pain come in to see me, and I just try and like work out why it is and stop it from happening.
Honestly, it sounds like I should go and find you for a session or two, because I have both my knees are bad, but my left knee is worse than my right because I play golf. Yeah, when I was running a lot more back in my school days, there were like certain days that my knees would really, really hurt.
Yeah.
But, just powered through it and let the pain subside on its own.
Yeah,
I mean,
most guys do that. I have to say.
yeah. Like even my fiance, she's a professional performer. She's always complaining about knee pain. We've had a look at it. We know what the problem is. We know she needs to do some exercises, and she'll just be like, "Paul, my knee hurts." And I'm like, "Have you done your exercises?" Oh, well, she's not even taking my advice, and she gets it for free.
Yeah.
She gets it for free.
Maybe if she paid you, she'll feel like the advice. She has to do the advice then,
Yeah, exactly. Skin in the game.
Yeah.
Maybe you should start charging your fiance like session prices, like maybe like say 200 per session. It's like so
it might help pay for my wedding as well.
Don't let the wife. I hope the soon to be wife doesn't hear this. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh no! Luckily the door's closed.
So before we start our interviews and stuff, we usually like to learn about the origins of our guests. Could we ask you, like, how did you begin your journey, and then how did you grow up, and how did you get into this whole field of podiatry?
It's very different to Singapore. I grew up in a tiny little village in North Yorkshire, very close to Leeds, literally fields on both sides, quintessential English village. When I was young, I played a lot of sport, football, tennis, cricket, whatever sport I could play, I'll be doing it. And I was, a bit injury prone as a kid. Had a few different, like a hip injury, then had some foot pain as well. So when I was about 12, went to see a podiatrist, got some insoles, sorted my pain out, all good. And then, when I was choosing unis, my mum told me that I was quite caring son. I cared for my grandma, like I was always willing to help her and stuff like that. So my mum was like, "Oh, Paul, you should look at something to do with healthcare." And you see like the sort of guidance counsellor, and they're saying like, "Oh, you can be a nurse, you can be a doctor, you can be a physio." And I didn't want to be a nurse because I didn't want to be wiping people's bums.
What a
No.
reason,
Fair point.
Physio in the UK, the grades are like so high, straight A's, and I'm not a straight A student. Then doctor, like A stars, not A stars either. And podiatry, like they need podiatrists, so they're like drop the grades for you. So the grades were lower. Maybe I still didn't quite get there, but I interviewed well, and they let me in. They let me in to do it. So I think the thing, do you know what? When I was choosing unis, I was 18 years old. I was a bloke, I went to the open days and there's all these girls in the room. I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. This is my course. Now I've just got loads of girl mates, The degree itself, like I was in Southampton, it's very much based around like wound care and diabetic feet and like people with toes amputated and stuff like that. And I actually hated it. Like I fainted on my first placement when I saw an amputee. I was like, straight down. But then after that, like my personal tutor was just like, "Paul, maybe you should like go into private practice." And I went into private practice and I did like more like cutting nails and hard skin for my first sort of 4 years out of uni. Then COVID hit and I was just like, oh, I fancy doing something different. I fancy a bit of an adventure. And I'd heard Singapore was a good place to live. And I looked on Google, on like YouTube, and Georgie Caney did these amazing videos about living in Singapore. And I thought, oh, looks pretty good. So I just applied for a couple of jobs and got one, told my parents, look, I've applied for these jobs in Singapore and I've got one. What do you think? And my dad's like, yeah, Paul, you got to go. And if you don't like it, just come home. And that was it. I've been here now 4.5 years and I absolutely love it. And I just now start my business. I just can't see myself going back for.
Wait, you came to Singapore during the COVID days?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, COVID had sort of finished in England, so we were like partying and stuff. We were back, boozing with all our friends. We were having a great time. And I thought it was the same in Singapore, but when I came in Singapore, they were like 6 months back in time. So I had to quarantine. I had to quarantine for 2 weeks, and I could initially only meet up with like one person. and I had to wear a mask in the street. I thought that was crazy because it's so bloody hot.
That's such a crazy from like partying everything, then coming to Singapore to relive the COVID fears again.
Yeah, plus our weather and everything else. The mask and everything.
Yeah.
You starting your own brand and then evolving it to like what it is today. Could you elaborate on that? And how did you actually decide to take the plunge to do this whole thing?
I think during like COVID, I found a bit of a love for social media. So initially at the start of COVID, the UK did this thing where you couldn't work. So then you get paid by the government. So I went back and lived with my parents, and my brothers were there too. They were still working from home. And I just like loved making these like Instagram stories of our life. You know, like I was mowing the lawn and, you know, going to the shops and picking up the shopping, and my brothers were like working from home. And I was just doing the life of the Macaulays. And I started just editing a few videos. Thought, that's quite nice. And what you saw a lot of content boom during that time, like a lot of personal trainers, physios, they're making it happen online. And I thought, you know, there's something here. But for the type of podiatry I was in at the time, I was just cutting nails and doing hard skin. And I thought, it's not a great topic. Then I came to Singapore and I started doing more sports injuries. And I said to the director of the company, I was at the start, like, look, I think we should do TikTok. And he went, you know what, TikTok, it's not on brand. And I was like, okay, no worries. So I went to another company. I said to him, look, I think we should do social media. And he's like, we've tried it before, it doesn't work. And I just genuinely believe that it would work. It's going to bring in patients, and it's the way to go. It's the future. So I just started posting, and about like a month in, I had a viral video, and I was like, yeah, it works. And I just continued literally just posting, and then I'm like ahead of everybody else in my niche, and I just thought, keep going, just churning it out to stay ahead, to be the one. I got so big that I got so many patients coming to see me and requesting to see me that I was like, well, it's silly to work for someone else and not get any of the reward. So I opted in September to just take the plunge, set up my own company, and it worked. It was worthwhile.
Wow. That's really living the dream. Like,
I'm actually surprised a lot. Like your previous employers didn't see the value of social media, the power and the reach of social media.
Just it was quite frustrating at the time. And now the funny thing is, like, I see them trying to create the content which I create. So they're basing their content on mine. And that's just like, why didn't you just listen to me 3 years ago? So
don't copy my homework. So moving on to talking about your field and your work. So how would you normally treat your patients, and how is the consultation process like?
Yeah, most of my patients are coming in with foot pain to see me. Often they'll come in because they've seen my content and be like, I want to know what shoes to wear. And then I'll get into a bit of conversation. It turns out they got foot pain. So basically they've all got some foot pain. And the key part of the consultation is the first sort of 10, 15 minutes. If you ask the right questions, pretty much you'll get 90% of the way there. You'll sort of know in your head what it is by asking the right questions. You see the same sort of patterns. It's all sort of pattern recognition. And you get them to describe sort of the symptoms they're feeling when they feel them. So initial 15 minutes, just asking questions, gaining as much knowledge as I can. And then we move into like a bit of like an assessment. I look at the feet, sort of press around, find the painful area. A lot of the time, you know, I've asked all those questions and then I like press bullseye, we're in the right area. Then I might do like an ultrasound scan of that area to see if the area is damaged and how bad the damage is as well. And that can really help to educate the patient because they can see it and I can explain it very easily visually as well. And then we sort of move into some sort of like hopping and calf raise exercises, some jumping to see if they can tolerate that. And that sort of helps me to know where they're at and what intervention we need to start with. And then I'll have a look at them walking barefoot and in their shoes. We'll also assess their shoes. And then we'll come back together and we'll just discuss like, you know, this is your problem. This is what I can do for you. Are you in or not? And usually, you know, hopefully they're in. And then we go on that journey back to being pain-free.
So what would be like one of the most common issues you see with Singaporeans, and what would be one of the most common issues you see?
I'm probably seeing plantar fasciitis the most. And that may be because I post about it a lot. And plantar fasciitis is heel pain. So when you first wake up in the morning, you feel like a stab in your heel. That's plantar fasciitis. So pretty common. Potentially some ankle issues as well.
What about runners? What would be some common issues?
In runners again, you will see a lot of plantar fascia issues, but you'll also see a lot of like arch pain and inside of the ankle pain. And that's most likely posterior tibial tendinopathy. So there's a tendon that runs down the inside of your ankle, connects into the arch. And if your foot rolls in or pronates and your foot collapses in, it'll pull a lot on that tendon. And if you wear soft shoes when you're running and you've got a pronated foot, it will roll in more and it strains that area more. And I tend to see Singaporeans who go to the shop and go, I want the most expensive shoes. And they're usually soft and flexible. And they're a beginner runner and they can't tolerate running already. Then they're trying to wear a shoe which is too advanced for them, which then leads to sort of pain in those areas. It all stems down to sort of the type of person I see here in Singapore. So Asian people have more collagen than Angmo. Okay, so that's why I have more wrinkles. Even though the lighting looks good here, I've got more wrinkles than you guys. That's because I have less collagen. So my ligaments aren't as stretchy. Your ligaments are stretchy. So yeah, your feet tend to, as they hit the floor, they'll like splay. You'll notice your sister, your mum got really wide feet, okay, on the forefoot because they sort of like open up a lot. You know, tends to like pronate a lot. So because the ground's hard, the foot's flexible, foot is the ground, foot rolls in a lot. And the softer shoe, as the foot rolls in, will just compress and then you'll roll in further. A lot of people can't tolerate it because when you have very flexible joints, you're not always necessarily the strongest. So you're mobile but not strong. And if you're not strong, you can't tolerate the forces that are going in. As the foot tries to roll in, the stiff shoe pushes back, stops you from rolling in as far, and will reduce as much motion, which will not lead to as much fatigue. If you're walking around, if you can imagine like you standing on one leg on the floor, like on a hard floor, you're standing on one leg, maybe it's easy or maybe it's hard to balance. But then if you put a cushion on the floor and stand on one leg on a cushion, you're probably going to find it a bit harder. And that is your foot in a soft shoe. Your foot is moving side to side, chip, 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 all day long. Whether you're standing, whether you're walking, whether you're on holiday and you're walking 20,000 steps. And those micro movements, if you're not strong enough, you will get tired earlier. That fatigue for some people may lead to pain, and then that pain may lead to injury. It just really depends on the person and how strong they are and if they can tolerate it.
So you mentioned like 20,000 steps is like every other Singaporean in Japan.
Yeah, mate, that's it. Exactly. That is my classic patient. Oh yeah. So 3 months ago, I went on holiday to Japan. I walked 20,000 steps every day for 10 days and I wore this shoe and I'm like shaking my head, not again. Because you know what happens? People like go to Japan and they're like, oh, I'm going to pack light. I'm going to pack light on my shoes. And they wear the lightest, softest, most flexible shoes. And then they end up walking further than they do in Singapore. And then they end up with foot pain. They're spending, bit of money with me afterwards. It's just an absolute classic story that I hear. Now it's China. They're all going to China.
Oh yes. I just came back from China.
You just go to China, Brendan?
Yeah.
Classic.
Just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we were just saying, wow, I never walked so far in so long. Especially it's cold.
As the shoes, the sport shoes the running shoes that are issued to us in the SAF, in home team for all our NS duties and stuff. What do you think of them?
Yeah, to be honest, they're not bad. They're not actually that bad. Like for considering like the price that you pay for them, which like it's obviously so low, and they're all right. They're quite stiff, so they do give decent support. And obviously can you get them at different widths as well?
Yeah, you can get like a high arch one. There's two models. There's like a high arch and then there's like a one for wider feet. Yeah, that stuff. So they actually give options this time around, like in recent years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the colors are pretty bright as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Well, like when I see people who are out of NS wearing them, I just think it's a bit tragic. But whilst you're in them. Yeah, and then it's fine.
Hey, it's free, bro. It's free. Credits are free money. Credits are free money.
It's when I see like the uncles in my HDB wearing them and they're like 85 and I'm like, look, NS was a while ago for you, mate.
I don't think those guys served at all even.
Yeah, probably their grandkids buying for them, yeah. What would you suggest for people who actually spend like long periods of their time like standing and relaxing their feet compared to like people who are actually running?
The way I look at it is if you understand what foot type you have, then you pick your shoes based on that. So if you have a a high arch and it's very rigid, it doesn't move much, it doesn't compress much when you put your foot on the floor, then you probably want a cushioning shoe, a nice soft shoe, so you get that shock absorption. But if your foot at all is very flexible, or you've got a flat foot, or your arch collapses quite a lot under your load, then you probably want to go for a more stability shoe for standing. And then if you're getting very tired from standing, genuinely, you just want to get stronger. And that's probably the problem in Singapore, is that before COVID, everyone was so sedentary. Now people are less sedentary now. I think still in that sort of middle-aged generation to the older generation, the ones who maybe stand in the hawker centers and stuff, they just don't do any strength training. They've never lifted a weight in their life or done any calf raises at all. So if they did, that would help them a lot.
Are there a specific food or exercises that people should take in consideration?
If you are doing exercises to get stronger, you need to eat enough protein for your muscles to actually be fueled to develop. So when I talk to my patients, actually, and I've got a lady at the moment, a diabetic lady, and she needs to get a bit stronger. And we're talking about protein intake. And she's like, yeah, I eat chicken. And I'm like, what type of chicken? She's like, chicken wings. So I was like, well, look. How many wings? She's like, 1 wing. I'm like, there's not much chicken on there. So I'm trying to encourage her to eat more breast meat, so increase the protein level so that when she's doing the exercises, her muscles are actually going to grow. So yeah, I think food-wise, you want to eat enough protein. So that's one thing. And you're not going to get out of the hawker center unless you double up on the protein. So you're getting chicken rice. I mean, I triple the amount of protein on my chicken rice, but it costs me.
How much is your chicken rice order?
Yeah. I mean, it cost me $14, but people, the cafe, the people at the cafe are like, oh, Paul, you're getting mugged off there. It's because you're an Angmo.
But $14 for chicken rice.
But little did they know you're tripling your meat intake is加肉meat. That's
yeah. I think
Paul, $14 for chicken rice is two people.
I know.
Well, for normal people, that's two people.
Half a
two
chicken.
people.
Half a chicken is in your
half a chicken.
in
Why not just order half a chicken at that point?
I probably should. I think that's where I'm going wrong. I just don't know how to order properly. I thought he's my mate. This guy's called Jack, so I call him Jack, and he says he misses me when he hasn't seen me for a while, but he probably misses me because he charged me $14.
My favorite customer is back.
I mean, let's be honest. Selling you 1 plate of chicken rice is like him selling 3 plates of chicken rice to a regular guy.
Yeah.
So a bit more protein, and then exercises wise, if you're looking, there's a few key exercises. You want strong toes to be able to push off. That's pretty important, and that's something I'm noticing is a lot of weakness in toes. And if you have weak toes, you may be at more risk of having something like plantar fasciitis. Bring in a bit more arch strengthening exercises, because I've noticed that just people's foot collapses so much they just got no sort of strength in their foot. And then the key one would be just to do calf raises. I mean, calf raises are really good. Strong calves are good for running. They're good for standing. They're good for walking as well. So yeah, doing calf raises it'd be the easiest one to do. And you can do it sort of when you're brushing your teeth, or I have a teacher when she's invigilating, she's doing it while she's invigilating. So you can do it anytime.
Do you have any unforgettable or funny client stories you can actually share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just give you a classic story, a classic Indonesian story. So the Indos, when they come over, they tend to they tend to be these particular type of Indonesians tend to be quite wealthy. So we usually send a message out bring the shoes that you wear the most. And most patients will bring 2 or 3 pairs. Great, but the Indonesians, they wear a lot of shoes, so. Yeah, they rock up with 2 suitcases full of shoes. Okay, open the suitcase and then they're like, "Oh, Paul, can you go through my shoes, sort of rate my shoes, let me know." And I'm going through these shoes, and we've got $800 on running shoes, which have collab, and I'm like, no, terrible, Then the next one's a Hermes sneaker, too narrow, no. Then we're going through to something like Balenciaga shoe that doesn't fit you. No. So I've gone through 20 shoes on this patient, and all of them don't fit. And literally it must have been 15 grand worth of shoes. And then I'm like, look, we're going to have to get you some better shoes. But the thing is, my shoe list, the shoes I give to patients are $250 shoes. And they're like, do you know any Hermes ones which will be better? I'm like, oh, honestly, I feel awkward going into Hermes because I'm like, I can't afford Hermes. Like, I can't go in here. So I can't exactly rate the shoe that well.
shoes,
and I can't advise them on it. So yeah, I'm just like, well, just get yourself an A6 car and you'll be all right.
Well, 15 grand worth of shoes, that's enough for how many plates of chicken rice at $14?
Yeah, wow.
Let's ask Jack.
Serious question. Like, are there actually Hermes or like Balenciaga shoes that are actually like good for the feet?
Yeah. I think like, I mean, Balenciaga, because they do some of those like sneakers, which they're actually quite like heavy, quite well structured. They got like a nice rocker to them, but they cost like 2K. So, I mean, like, it's not, yeah. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do a collab with me for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, there are some. I see it. I'm trying to think. I think it's like Gucci. Some of their sandals like have a bit of arch support in, and Chanel. Some of their Chanel sandals are wide and have arch support and have like really nice straps. But yeah, again, like proper expensive.
Like, which running shoes actually do you recommend for Singaporeans runners?
I mean, like, that's a really tough question because it's much easier if someone says, I've got this foot pain, what shoes do you recommend? Because usually there's a shoe which matches, which will reduce the load of that particular injury. For me to say, like, which is like the most like recommended shoe, I suppose, for Singaporeans, it is tough. I can tell you which shoes I recommend the most in clinic. If I see a lot of plantar fasciitis, I'm usually recommending a stability shoe, and I'm looking at the ASICS Carno, the Brooks Adrenaline, and like the New Balance 860s. It's probably like my most recommended, and they fit that very wide Singaporean foot. But then if we're looking at those runners they've been running a lot and they're not injured and, they're not getting any pain, they could really wear any running shoe that they wanted to. For them, it's the world's their oyster. But if you're not strong, you're sort of having a bit of pain, then that's where I ask a few questions and then I can then advise better on what shoe.
With regards to like a couple of years back, the whole Vibram 5 fingers barefoot running kind of shoe, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, they are. So barefoot shoes, they completely natural. So when your foot hits the ground in a barefoot shoe, the shoe is not offloading your foot in any way. Compare that to like our maximalist running shoes, which have like a heel to toe drop. So your foot's at a bit of an angle. It's got a bit of a rocker. Those shoes will make it easier to walk. So wearing a barefoot shoe in a way it's natural, but it's harder. It puts more demand on your foot and ankle. If you're fit and strong enough to wear that shoe and want to, I'm completely on board, absolutely fine with that person wearing it. It's when people who are sedentary, they sit all day, they have like a little bit of foot pain and they put the barefoot shoes on because they think they're suddenly going to get strong. Their feet don't just suddenly get stronger by putting on the shoes. They've got to like, gradually sort of wear them in, start to tolerate them and build that up. And then their feet will get a bit stronger, but they'll also probably have to do some foot exercises, foot rehab to wear them. So, but I don't get a lot of my patients to wear them because most of them just can't tolerate them. And also most patients wouldn't want to wear them because they're pretty ugly.
I would say the toes. Is there actually difference in the shoes you recommend, right? When someone runs more often, like when it comes to running shoes and walking shoes, are there supposed to be a difference or can they be the same shoe?
They can definitely be the same shoe. But you would say that some of those sort of like higher end super trainer running shoes, something like your ASICS Super Blast, like your Adidas Evo SLs, they are meant more for sort of performance running. And they're made of these lighter foams. You probably don't want to walk around in them because they'll wear out really fast and you just spend $350 on them and, they're not going to last long. They're made for maybe like more midfoot to forefoot striking. And you don't do that when you walk. You're walking sort of heel to toe. So those shoes are probably inappropriate for walking, but your typical like standard like height max cushioning shoe, your max stability shoe, your neutral cushioning shoes, like those traditional running shoes like ASICS Nimbus, your Brooks Ghost, and your like ASICS Kyanos, those types of shoes are like absolutely fine for walking it.
The next question I want to ask, right, is because we got my own son likes to wear his favorite shoes are Crocs. So I want to just ask, why do you avoid recommending Crocs, flip flops, or flat slides? And are there any stable alternatives?
That's basically it's like the Uniqlo Arism shirt. The flip flops are basically the national uniform of Singapore. The national footwear of Singapore.
And Crocs are getting very popular now. I would say like Crocs.
Yeah,
is like,
actually, Paul, I wanna ask your opinion like on this also. Like Crocs.
One of the main things that I see with people in Singapore and wearing Crocs is that they adjust their gait, so they don't have the strap on. They're slid in. Okay, so they're not attached to the foot. And then when people walk, they don't go heel to toe like you're meant to. So you're meant to go heel to toe because that distributes your force across your foot equally. But people, when they just slide them in and don't wear the back strap, then they actually take shorter strides and they sort of plod. Okay, and you if you look at people walking, you'll see them like sort of plodding along, and that plodding will put more pressure through the arch rather than the whole foot. And that can lead to sort of more discomfort, more strain on the area. So the foot's not working how it should do. That's one opinion. If you go sports mode and you put the back straps on, it's a bit better. Yeah, it's a bit better. So I'm a bit
sports mode.
I'm a bit more of a fan of it. But then again, like it comes back to like the sort of genetic makeup of Singaporeans and sedentary lifestyle. If people are quite sedentary and then they've got extremely like hypermobile, flexible feet, and then when they're walking around in Crocs, they're going to find it a lot more tiring than if they were to wear sort of a firmer shoe, because the Crocs, they're not really attached to the foot again. And then because they're so soft and flexible, your feet are like wobbling around in them, and that will tie your tendons, muscles, and ligaments like from step to step. So yeah, I've had little kids, sort of 6, 7 years old. Their mums are telling me, "Oh, my kid is so lazy. He doesn't want to walk." I'm like, "Oh, what does he wear?" "He just wears his Crocs all the time." I said, "Well, look, put him in these GT 1000s and see how he goes. I'll see you in a month." And then comes back, "Oh yeah, he's never complaining of being tired." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's just about this shoe is supporting his foot and making him have to work less hard, and allowing him then to just do more activities." A really simple fix. It's not just Crocs that I'm against. I also like flat flip flops. They're not attached to your foot. Again, you like gripping them. I grew up obviously like wearing shoes, so it's so much easier for me to just carry on wearing shoes. Whereas I know like it's your bloody national shoe. You flip flop.
Yeah, the slides, the slippers with the
Singapore's hot,
flat base. Yeah, it's really too hot. You wear a shoe to the wet market. It's not a choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely fine. I think it's fine if you're walking not too far in them. But then if you're, going to the mall on the weekend and you're walking like 10,000 steps, you're like watching your wife try on shoes, they're not really supporting your foot and you might find it a bit tiring. But yeah, for shorter walks, like it's all right.
There are quite expensive slides nowadays. So people wear them to town, they go for a full day of walk. In your opinion, that is actually that's bad, right? Like if they wear like Balenciaga sliders and then they will just walk around town.
Slide's obviously a bit more attached to your foot than a thong, which I do think is slightly better. But yeah, again, people don't necessarily walk completely like heel to toe in them. So I wouldn't recommend it for, again, longer walking, but for sort of short walks, it's all right.
Paul, in your opinion, what do you think is worse for the feet? Flip flops or like those high heels that the ladies like to wear?
It comes down to like time under load. Okay, so this is proper like nausea thing, but how long does the person wear them for? I think they're equally as bad. Yeah, probably. Say if the person's wearing a high heels for 8 hours, that's going to be worse than the person who's wearing their flip flops for 2 hours. But yeah, like actually a lot of women don't really wear heels. They're sort of a bit out of fashion now. People are allowed to wear sort of sneakers and sort of ballet flats.
I'll just ask one final question before I pass the time over to Turn Young. Currently, why are you so passionate about education and sharing when honestly most doctors, they are just contented with just working in the clinic and just serving their patients?
I think I always like set out to do a small thing and make a big difference. And then when I started sort of posting online, I realized that I could, really do a small thing and then make a massive difference. Like, I was looking at my email. I've got like 10,000 subscribers on my email list, and I've been sending out these emails, and I'm looking at where people are opening them. And like Nigeria, someone's opening the email in Nigeria. I'm thinking, bloody hell, that's amazing. And then like Turkey, Ireland, like all these random places around the world. I just think like it's pretty special that I can help that many people. And actually, like, I mean, it's built my business. I don't really sell like my clinic. Like, I don't go like, book in with me. You know, I just post content and then people book it. Giving them education that works, builds trust, and then they go, all right, my foot's a bit better, but it's not completely there. I'm going to go and see him because he seems to know his stuff. It was a bit scary at first because you're worried about what other podiatrists will think. Like, I never pretend to be the best podiatrist in the world. I was scared that they would call me out and say, oh, you're wrong. But, you know, I sort of bypassed that by doing a lot of research before I posted content and then posting the content about what I'd learned. I just kept grinding out. I just kept posting more content. I kept seeing what worked and seeing that this piece of content had worked and analyzing why I think it had worked and then trying it again. And by doing that, it just grew more and more. And, you know, then I started on TikTok, posted on TikTok, grew to like 100,000 followers. And then I said, oh, I could probably do this on Instagram too. I was on about 70,000 followers and I had one video that took off massively, just me rating shoes, simple content. And I ended up with another 120,000 followers or something silly like that. So it wasn't easy. Like, I basically worked for free for 2 years making content. And then when I started my business, like now I'm profiting from that. I'm got all these shoes and stuff, but it's just free shoes. I wasn't like getting paid at the time.
Yeah.
Whereas like for some of my content now, I do take sponsorships and I need to sort of, you know, I need to do it to build my business.
So your patients or people who come to you, they've already seen your content. So how is it like easier when they come to you? It's like, oh, I saw your video about this topic. So could you like help me? Has it made like the whole patient the patient relationship like more positive or easier on you? Would you say?
100%. They're sold before they come in the door, and they say they have to consume 7 hours of content to sort of like build trust. So they must have watched a lot of my videos, and I know they have, because they'll come in and they're wearing like some shoes that I recommend, and during it they'll ask me questions about the videos I've made, and also I'll go into like the wait-in area and I'm like, hey Carol, and then I'm like, hi, I'm Paul, and she's like, I know. I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, nice to meet you, Carol. Anyway, so you start off with that bit more trust, and as long I've learned that the way I present myself online, I've got to be presenting myself in clinic as well. I've got to be that same person that they think I am, and so I do think like my patients are more engaged, because when I worked in previous clinic and you get people through like Google ads, they had no trust in you. They just come into you because they clicked on your ad. They don't know who you are. They don't know anything about you. And they're not bought into it. Whereas, people are already sold on me. Just, I suppose, then it's about, do they believe in the journey that I'm presenting to them? I wasn't the best podiatrist, but I've had some good mentors who have helped me to realize that communication is the key to a good health journey. And so if I can communicate what's wrong with the patient, what I can do about it, and what it's going to look like for them, and set expectations, then they're usually bought in. So it definitely helps.
I mean, in recent years, like short form content has been a lot more popular, but you said in 2026 you would like to focus more on like longer form content on YouTube. Is this like part of your, say, communication process with people who may not be able to come and find you in person, or is there any reason behind you trying to focus more on long form YouTube content?
For one, I think from a business point of view, YouTube's going to be better financially for sponsorships. Like, I mean, if you watch a reel and you can see straight away it's sponsored, often you swipe away. Whereas if you watch a YouTube video that's 10 minutes long and it's got a 30 to 60 second segment from a sponsor, you probably still carry on watching it. So I think from a sponsorship point of view, that's one reason. Secondly, I realized that like my 1 minute videos, they don't really teach you anything. And I was sort of getting frustrated with people in the comments sort of like getting confused. And I just wanted to lengthen out my education onto like a longer form. And also, I need to do that. It's just one of my goals too. But short form's good for, I think it's good for people to be like, oh, he exists. But I think the education, the deep education still lies on YouTube. And also a lot of my followers are in US and a lot of the big brands are based in the US. And so it sort of works for my business in the future.
It's really a refreshing change because I would say that most people are actually migrating over to shorter content. But when you're migrating over to longer content, like not to see that there's really so much purpose and like the thought process that going behind it really makes a lot of sense.
I do give, a lot of advice which a lot of other clinicians would want to be charging for. But I did realize that there are a lot of people in the world that cannot access healthcare. And some of the stuff I give them, like, I tell my friend at the pub, so I don't mind like sort of telling them as well. And some podiatrists would prefer to see patients for sort of 10 sessions rather than just being like, oh, all you need to do is wear this shoe. So if we can sort some stuff out from home, fantastic. And then we can see like sort of those harder cases in the future, then that's great too. Like there's always going to be a need for us as podiatrists, even if the education is available online, because, some people just need someone to hold them accountable to do what's asked.
So I would just like to finish this off with a round of quick-fire questions. What is your favorite song to listen to?
Only If for a Night by Florence and the Machine.
Wow. Okay. Ooh, okay. One thing you miss about the UK?
My family.
About the food?
No.
The chicken.
It's the chicken.
Favorite design you've seen in the shoe?
Yeah, so recently I've seen a shoe which, because a lot of Singaporeans don't want to tie their laces, this shoe has laces, but you put your foot in the shoe and then you roll your foot backwards and it tightens the laces. And then if you want to take them off, you just like clip it off at the back and it loosens again. So hands-free shoes, I think, and they're a really good shoe. I think they're going to be fantastic. And if you keep an eye out, might be doing a collab.
Nice.
They're called Upper Lee. Up at Lee.
Yeah.
Right. One stretch everyone should do before and after exercise.
Calf stretching.
Yay or nay on sleepers?
Know the answer to that. It's a no.
Yeah.
Actually,
No.
But
it's a Singaporean staple footwear.
Favorite beer? I think that'd be more applicable to you.
So I mean, I love ale, like the warm ale you get in the UK from the tap, from the cask ale, which is like room temperature. All the beer in Singapore sucks.
Oh shit!
Oh,
so that's a no to Tiger beer.
No Tiger beer.
I mean, I drink Tiger because it's the cheapest. But that's probably right.
It's cheap beer.
But if anyone from Singapore, like PR services, is watching this, then I love Singapore.
Just not the beer.
Just not the beer. Right. One popular myth about footwear that is false.
A lot of people think their feet stop growing when they're like 18, but actually your feet can sort of get wider, and you can definitely go up a shoe size. So a lot of people end up wearing the wrong size shoe.
Oh, was this the problem with the Indonesian client of yours?
Yeah, they were. I mean, yeah. I would say 60% of my patients are wearing the wrong size shoe.
Okay, your first viral post in your opinion?
3 shoes that I'd never wear as a podiatrist. Number one was Crocs. Number 2 was Skechers, and number 3 was stilettos.
Wait, Skechers? Really? You never wear Skechers?
Yeah, I know. And at the time, I was scared I was going to get sued, but luckily I didn't. I think it's more like because they're like soft, flexible, and like they wear out fast.
They always twist the shoes to show you how flexible they are. Yeah. A troll comment that you actually laughed at.
Yeah, so I mean, another podiatrist called me a healthcare sellout on a video where I'm talking about the shoes that I recommend to my patients every day, and it's legitimately the shoes that I recommend to my patients. So what is he saying? That I'm shit at my job.
There's a lot of envy involved because I feel that there are a lot of people who wants to be as popular on social media and they try, but when they fail, all they can do is they take it out on one that is actually doing what they want to do.
When we all laughed at it. Yeah. Went around the group chat.
I think you can tell him, if you buy me $20 chicken rice, call me seller all you want.
Sure, yes.
Every day, $20 for chicken rice. Yeah, call me seller all you want. Sell out for chicken rice. Speaking of chicken rice, do you have a besides your mate Jack? Do you have like a favorite chicken rice store? Yeah,
I reckon Jack's chicken rice is pretty bloody good. I've got to say, honestly, it tastes so good.
Where is Jack's chicken rice?
What stall is this?
I'll have to say, I'm going to take a picture with him next time I'm there. And tag it. It's in Tanjong Pagar, and it's like I don't even know. It's like on the corner of a building underneath. Yeah. Have you seen that content creator called Zaki or something? And he did nasi lemak. He went around Singapore tasting nasi lemaks. Like tasting Samosa. That could be me. Yeah. Me going around tasting the chicken rice. Yeah. Oh yeah, this rice tastes good. Chicken broth's good.
Every store you go, you just kind of triple the meat. I tell you, all these chicken rice stores, aunties and uncles, they'll love you. Everybody start going to the chicken rice store. Uncle, just triple meat.
At that point, might as well just buy like half a chicken and then just get on with it. Right?
So now I think we have learned a lot from you today, and of course you're a very busy person. But just to close off the episode, can you let our audience know where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, of course. Just very simple. If you remember my name and my profession, very easy to remember. So at Paul The Podiatrist across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and paulthepodiatrist.com if you want to book an appointment.
Thank you, Paul, for your time, and really all the best to you. And we'll be tuning in for more of your content, and especially waiting to see whether you get the chicken rice sponsorship.
Or cheaper chicken rice for that.
Chicken rice, yes.
Thanks a lot, guys.